Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where women from every walk of life come together to break barriers, embrace their power, and live life on their own terms. I'm your host, Vicki McDougall, and each week we explore inspiring stories, actionable strategies, and empowering conversations to help you step into your confidence, amplify your voice, and create a life without limits. No matter where you are on your journey, this is your space to grow, thrive, and become unstoppable. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. And today I am with the beautiful Angela DeMarco Snow. I am so happy you are here. We met so long ago. Well, it seems like long ago, but a few years, I guess.
Not really. Yeah.
It isn't. But I mean, I've seen you grow so much in this time. It's so exciting and you're growing more, which I love. You are a relationship coach. Is that correct when I say that?
Yes.
You're also like a matchmaker and, you've got just a slew of titles behind your name. You wear a lot of hats, which I just absolutely love. And they're all so exciting. So tell us a little bit about you, Angela. Share with our audience what I know already about you, but share with our audience a little bit more.
Sure. So yes, I am a dating coach. I am a relationship coach and a professional matchmaker. And I have been doing this for years. I worked in big corporations. And when I met you, I was like, I'm done working for corporations. I need to go on my own. Right. So that's what I have been doing. I'm also a master certified health coach and a life coach, which I'm currently incorporating that too into the dating world and my dating coaching, because that's like at the forefront of everything, health right now, and taking care of yourselves and, feeling your best, because that impacts your relationships, right? If you're not feeling well. And so I'm kind of incorporating all that. I'm an author. So I wrote a book called Searching for Ladybugs, Finding the Magic in Your Mess. Which is really kind of a memoir, but also a coaching book, helping really basically women who have compromised themselves in relationships, have lost who they are, and have found themselves at the end of their relationship realizing that they don't even know who they are anymore, and they don't recognize themselves, and just finding themselves again and finding their light. So I'm also the author of that, and a mom. I'm a mom. I'm a single mother. I kind of do all the things. I have several hats.
Yes,
hats.
you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Let me circle back to your book, though, because, I think I just love the name, but also knowing that whether it's a relationship, whether it's something's happened or something with grief, a trauma, a change in your working, how you're like, maybe I'm 50 years old now and I want to change. I want something different. All of those things in that mess, it always seems like a mess.
100%, right? You always feel like you're a mess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, we talk a lot about being in coaching and doing. And who you're being in the mess is where I think the unstoppable comes from, is that chance of knowing I want this. I know I can get this, but how? It's not the doing, it's who I choose to be while I'm getting there. So tell me a little bit about that, because I know it's a journey. And I mean, again, we go and then we can pivot and we can go down this little bit of a different path to get to where we need to be. But so often as an entrepreneur, and I think you can share this, get into depth with this a little bit more, is the path is not just, this is your SOP, this is what you need to do, and this is where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that way.
No.
Really.
It's not that way at all. It's not that way at all. No. It's devastatingly not that way at all.
No. And it is a messy middle. Right? It is that mess.
It's a horrible mess, especially like in your first few years. I'm only 2 years in to my entrepreneurship, and my business has been somewhat successful, for 2 years. I think people would say it is, but but going back to like who you're being, right? Like, and I think a lot of people get stuck with that question because they're not really being, they're too worried about like, who I need to become,
Yeah.
Instead of just believing that, you know, who they are and who they're hoping they become is already there. They just don't have the
Mhm.
belief in themselves to just let it be. Let
Yeah.
it be. Right?
Yes.
And and
Yes.
and I remember when I first met you and when we first met, I was stuck in that. I was stuck there. I knew that where I was not right. I knew that I had more to give and more to offer. And I knew I wanted to have a greater impact. And, you know, I wasn't in alignment with what I was supposed to be doing. I was doing okay. Like my life was fine. I was content. I was making good money. Whatever. I was able to
Yeah.
live, but I wasn't where I wanted to be. But I didn't also believe, and I knew who I saw myself as, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't believe that was her at that moment.
Hmm.
Um, and I just remember breaking down, and I remember getting coaching and, saying, and having basically been told, look, you are already this. You just have to just do it. Just be it, right? Just
Hmm.
believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And I think once you step into that, like, I think I just finally was like, screw it, I'm going to step into this. And I just remember I just like made a decision within like a second and to leave my job without knowing what the heck I was going to do. And I
Yeah.
took a risk and it worked, you know,
But because I think you
and then
trusted
just step.
yourself, you did trust yourself. You believed that there was something there that was bigger than what you were living right that moment.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I could feel it. And when I work with people, they're at that cusp, right? Like even in relationships, they're like, I know I want this and I know I can have it. I know it's right there. And they just don't know how to grab it. And I'm like, but again, in relationships, even when I'm coaching people, they're still in their brain think that they have to be something. They feel like they have to, rather than just be themselves, they feel like they have to perform. They feel like they
Mhm.
have to, like they have to have this magic. There has to be something else. They have to lose 20 more pounds. They have to, whatever it is, there's
Yeah.
constantly like, I feel like they're always on this journey instead of just acceptance of who they are, just being who they are and recognizing that alone is enough.
Yes. Yes.
And just accept it and step into it. And just as soon as you do that, you will find what you're looking for. But if you're denying who you are, it's never going to happen for you because you're just not okay with yourself.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that if you're not okay with where you are, if you're always believing that you have to become something else instead of just being, like, you're just, the universe, I believe this, is just you're never gonna find, it's never gonna come to you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're basically slapping it away.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't believe it's ever enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. So if you can't believe that
Yes,
it's never enough, how can you believe that you're ever enough?
exactly. And
And
so
that's
you're
a
constantly
whole,
chasing, but
that's right. Chase, chase,
that's
chase.
hard.
It is
Yeah.
hard. So hard.
And I
And we
spent
do it.
years of my life chasing, just years
Yeah. Yeah. And
and
chasing
constantly
from
getting to say,
things
I
from,
just,
that relationship that when we get married, the relationship we think it should be, the relationship with people that we work with, that our friends, our parents, our siblings, whatever it is, we're always chasing that, what it's supposed to look like, rather than just being with it where it's at, right? In
yeah,
any of that. And I think you really, in 2 years, like, I've watched you grow and change and shift and create things that have been just beautiful. And it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but you have the faith and the trust in yourself, which is the foundation to everything you're building,
yeah,
is the trust in yourself.
exactly. Yeah. And it took many years to get that. Like I said, and I think everybody has to believe in themselves. Like everybody
Yes.
has a light. We all have a purpose, right? And everybody is capable of
Mhm.
getting what they want, right? Of being in a line, as long as you are doing it from a good place, as long as as long as you're coming in service of others and you're not just being transactional, if you're looking at it if you're coming from it from the right place, right?
Yeah.
And for
Yep.
me, I feel like a lot of what I do is in service of others. And I knew that. And that was something that too, I was having a really hard time with my corporation, right? I didn't feel like they were in service of people. They were in service of money, the dollar, the bottom line. I felt like everything was, and it's like, you can't buy people. You can't, people can't buy relationships. Love, relationships, those are not transactions. That is not a transaction. And so I think the belief in me came from with my heart, right? I wanted to be heart-centered. This is transformational. This is not transactional. I'm not coming from that place. And I believe that everybody has that in them I don't know how to say it. Everybody has that in them, right? And I have grown. And I think it's because I constantly come from a place of, I know that the secret sauce is me.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a hard thing to say because we're taught not to be conceited, right? You start to feel like, oh my God, I'm conceited if I think that, right? But I've had a lot of coaches who have said, no, your secret sauce, what makes you different from other people is you.
Right.
You're the secret sauce. And I'm not for everybody. And then this is what I also had to accept, right? Because I think when I started coaching, I wanted to help everybody. I wanted everybody to like me. I wanted everybody to appreciate. And it's like, you know what? And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, no, I don't want everybody to like me because not everybody is my client.
That's right. That's right.
I want the people who are my clients to get something from, out of this for them to impact. So I think that's where my belief came and where I just started being, because I'm like, I don't want to help everybody. Not everybody is my client. I just know what I bring to the table and that there are people in this world that need that. And those are my people. And I don't care if you're not my person.
That's right.
You'll find another person who knows who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's great.
And, let's circle back to what you said too in wanting to coach everyone and wanting to help everyone and you being that secret sauce. It isn't conceited when it isn't ego. Your heart, you're leading with this. You're not leading with this or this. You're leading with this. So ego doesn't even play in it. There is no ego for you. You're not doing this because you want someone to say, oh, I know Angela. She's like the top 1% of the top 1% and da-da-da-da-da-da. You don't need any of that recognition because you are the secret sauce. And I think as women, we need to really listen to that sentence.
Yeah.
Because every single every single one is the only one of you. And you are the only one that can bring Angela to the table to show people what Angela can do for them.
Right. So, and that's so important for women too. And I'm sorry to interrupt. So many women they lack that confidence of just, look, and it's like they're trying to win approval by all these. It's like, you don't have to win approval. No. The right people, your people, right? You don't need to fight for this one guy. If he's not giving you the attention, he's not your guy. You are the secret sauce. We all have it. You just have to attract who's your person, right? Know who you are. Know who you bring, what you bring to the table. Know that whatever you bring to the table, you're going to attract that. And it's okay if it's not what you think you're supposed to have, right? Yeah. Or following some sort of vision in your head. It's going to attract just being. It's going to come to whatever's meant for you.
Yes,
trust the process. So many people don't trust the darn process.
No.
No.
And I think that's the problem a lot of times with entrepreneurs is that, and you, like you said, it's been 2 years. You're going to pivot now. And in 2 years, you're pivoting. But that pivot doesn't mean what you did in the first 2 years wasn't right. It means you've grown. Right. And you see the possibilities of what else is possible.
Right. Well, and not only that, but, here's a thing for an entrepreneur, because we can get stuck, right? I think I got stuck and I have to make money. I have to replace my corporate salary. I was so I took on clients that I knew in my gut I shouldn't take them, but I needed that money. So I was like, I'll take you. Right. And I think a lot of people make these mistakes, or
Mhm.
I made mistakes marketing and paying money on things. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to help me, but I need to try to glow, so I made some mistakes. But I recognized in my 2 years too, like I'm starting to move away from my original goal, right?
Yeah,
Like what I was
yeah,
originally going to do, because that's not what I was doing. I was starting to chase the money, chase the client, which is exactly why I was like, this is not what I'm doing. And so I noticed it in my business. As soon as I started doing that, my business shifted a little bit. So then when I started to pivot and go back to my original, things started getting better. So I started to realize, Angela, you got to stick to who you are. You got to stop trying to, and one of the things that I noticed too, that I have stopped doing completely, and that I think a lot of women are guilty of doing. We compare, right? We start to compare and
yes,
despair. We start to look at other matchmakers who maybe started their business prior to right around when I did, or people I used to work with who left the company who also are doing this, And I kept comparing like to where they were to where, and it's like everybody's on their own journey. Like
yeah.
why are you doing that? Like stop comparing. Everybody has their own and what they're putting out on social media might not even be true.
Oh, yeah,
Just because someone's posting a bunch of videos and, oh my God, they
oh,
went from 1,000 followers on Instagram to 300,000 doesn't mean they have clients.
no, no, no.
It just means they have likes, right? So
And
one of
we
the things is
can't put
I
ourselves,
stopped.
that's right. That's right. It doesn't matter how many likes, how many impressions, how many views, that makes no difference. And when I agree with you, that started consuming me. Well, how do we grow? How do we grow? We don't how to we grow. We just be where we are, believe in ourselves and the process, trust that if we are aligned, if you are aligned, and that's what, I had said to you, I want you to be on the podcast because I see in 2 years, I've seen what you can accomplish. And I believe that women need to really be able to see that in themselves as well, because unstoppable isn't go, 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 go. That's not unstoppable. Unstoppable is allowing yourself the grace and the acknowledgement that, oh, okay, this isn't working, but I think it's because I am not in alignment with it. So once I shift that little bit, oh my gosh, look what's opening up for me.
Right.
And you're not fighting that. You're actually allowing yourself to go through that process, as messy as it may seem while you're doing it, because it's not, it always is, right? When we're doing that, because I know
Oh,
I've
yeah.
shifted.
Oh, yeah.
Good God. And the
I mean,
girl
and
that
it's
works with me,
painful. I mean,
oh,
yeah.
it is. And it's painful for everybody else involved too, because they're like, what do you mean you're changing? What do you mean?
Right.
It's growth. It's growth.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, okay, so when you left corporate, you started your own business,
Yeah.
right? So, and you got into that flow, you got into that rhythm. Then what happened?
Then what happened? Then I mean, I got into here's the thing that is really okay. So I lucked out when I first started my business. I mean, when I left my company, the last day I left my company was the first client I got, right? So I left my company. It was my last day. I got the first client. So I started off with a huge high ticket client. You were on the phone call when I was like, I think I'm going to throw up. I just signed my first 15,000 client. Like I was shaking. Like I was
Yeah,
shaking to tell her this contract is going to be 15,000. The fact that I even said 15,000, it made me sick. Like I was shaking to say that.
yeah,
And I remember being on the phone, and I remember we had a session. I think we were in group,
yeah,
right? I had a
yeah,
group coaching
yeah, yeah.
and I got on the phone and I was like, "Oh my God." I was still shaking and red in the face. That alone has shifted, because now I can be like, this is what I cost. This is why. This is what you get. I do not negotiate, And people will be like, well, there's people who are less expensive than you. I'm like, yes, I know, but that's what you're going to get.
That's right.
I'll talk to you in 6 months if you're ready. Because I know what I bring to the table and I know what they do.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and go with that cheaper one. I know what they do. It's going to be just like a dating app. That's fine.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But you're going to spend a lot of money for a dating app, right? So, I mean, I went in, I started working, I started doing action. I lucked out my first year. I kept getting client after client after client. I think
I don't think it's luck. Just saying. It's not luck.
You're right. It's not luck, but I mean, it was stuff. But like, what really changed me though was like the second year. So last year, or like even just the beginning of this year, it wasn't as the the clients weren't coming as fast, right? They weren't coming as quickly, and then that question, right, about the doubt started kicking in again, and you have to constantly. It's weird as an entrepreneur because you are by yourself. You are a solopreneur, especially, right?
Yeah.
So I am fully doing my own business. But I found myself doubting. I found myself like, oh my God, I don't know. So I constantly have to keep giving myself checks of, you can do this, right? It's like, it's a constant. So I think something else that you have to do is when you go into this negative thinking, or maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do this other thing. When I go into that, then, and I'm sorry, I started losing I got like a weird voicemail, like a client's trying to call me. I'm sorry. So I have to
You're
like
okay.
let that go. All right. So, what you wanted to know, like what's changing, right? I mean, it's a constant shift. It's a constant battle with myself of not falling back into patterns because it happens, right? Because you start to get scared. You have like impostor syndrome.
And you can
have
coach
like
every client that you have, you can coach them. You can coach them not to have that. It's okay. You're worthy. You can do this. You can do this. But then you have to do the same thing for yourself.
You have to. And it's really hard because I'm really great at helping other people. It's amazing. But when it comes to like snapping myself out of it, and that's why I have a coach. I mean, I do have a coach that I visit with weekly, and it's to keep me in the game, because it would be so easy to give up.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think that there's the unstoppable right there. It would be so easy to give up. But
it would. And there's many times that I think about it, right? There's times where I'm like, should I just give the money back to my clients and just go work a job where this isn't so hard? You know what I mean?
And then you go, absolutely not. Right?
No, I just cannot, because, what I've done for myself in the past couple of years is I've created more freedom for myself. Even though I'm working my butt off, even though like I've actually created more freedom and I'm happier, even though I'm more stressed or whatever about business, but it's a constant battle, and that's the thing. Like people, I think many people who are in their journeys and trying to be unstoppable and all of these things, it is just you just keep reinventing yourself. You can't allow it's the talk that you give yourself all the time. And it's never going to stop, right? You're never going to just be like, I'm good. And you're never going to be okay all the time.
No.
You're going to be like this all the time, but you have to kind of recognize, like, you just have to keep going. You're just like, nope, these are just lies. Like, it's really lies that you're telling yourself, and I just constantly have to keep reminding myself, like, there are people in this world who are not even doing half as good as you do for people.
Yeah.
And they are highly successful.
That's right. Yep.
You just have to be persistent, and believe. Just be yourself. Just be.
That's right.
And you will be. And it's a journey. It is hard. I mean, there are days running this business, and even like I'm about to embark on another journey, and people think I'm absolutely psychotic because I partnered with someone that I recently just met, and we were talking about, stuff, and we were like, we had the same vision, and we're like, well, maybe I don't want to give it away. I can't really talk
Yep.
about it yet,
Yep. Which
but
is okay. That'll be the next
but
episode with Angela. Just saying.
exactly. But it's weird. I just trust this person. I think, he trusts me on this, and we're meeting with an attorney on Thursday, and we're getting stuff together to embark on this new journey together. And people think I'm crazy because they're like, you just met this person. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And
let's rewind for a minute
we
for
shall
people
see.
just said, you had just talked about, you remember 2 years ago when we were on the call, and you had just gotten your first client. And I remember you saying, I don't have the money to invest in this program right now, but I don't have the money not to.
Yeah.
That's what you said. And you did it. You jumped in. And I remember you saying these exact words that you just said right now. People are calling me crazy. They think I'm crazy. What the hell am I doing? I shouldn't be doing this. Blah, blah, blah. That's what you were getting from everybody everywhere. And look what happened in 2 years, what you've created. So I believe, and this is my thing, I believe in intention, alignment, trust in your purpose. And if all of those boxes were checked for you when you said, let's do this, then I don't believe that there's anything you can't do right. Like, I really don't. I don't believe maybe I didn't say that right. I believe there's nothing that you can do that's wrong, because you're believing in yourself, you're trusting in this process, and you're doing this. You're coming from a place of heart-centered, not from a place of money, because the money will follow. The money will follow. The money isn't an object when you know it's going to come.
Right.
The helping and the giving and what you get to be for others is so much greater than that.
Yeah.
And you are taking those steps, Angela, and that's powerful. That is powerful.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what you do, for a daily. So I'm saying I'm not single, so I'm just saying I'm single. And I call you and I say, you know what, girl, I've been single for a while. I'm looking for my soulmate. What steps do I take? Run me through your little process of what you would do for me as a client if I was a potential client of yours. So people can understand, because first of all, I know that there's probably a lot of women and men that are in their 20s and 30s. They're probably 40s, 50s, maybe searching for someone. And if I had been single right now, my husband and I have been together for nearly 30 years, and I was married before that for like 10. So, I haven't dated since I was 18 years old. So how do you do that? Right? Like, I wouldn't have a clue.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of my people are coming from that niche, right? They're divorced. They're re-entering this dating world. It's so different from when they started. And so here's the reality about the clients. So this dating world, okay. And by the way, even though you're married, I do work with couples too. Like, I do couples coaching and communication to try to rebuild intimacy, etc. Everybody who's using dating apps they're exhausted. They're overwhelmed. The dating apps and the dating world currently is social media. It's really not helping you date. It's creating addiction. It's creating dopamine hits, right? Swipe, 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 swipe. It's giving you way too many options. So there's this paradox of choice, right? Which I always kind of use it as when you're thinking about upselling. If I say, oh, you want a Bloody Mary? What kind of vodka do you want? It makes people go, what kind of vodka? They start looking at all the vodkas, and then maybe they pick Tito's, and then they have it, and then they realize you have Chopin, and they're like, oh, dang it, you have Chopin? I wish I would have. Now there's buyer's remorse. It's kind of like the same thing, right? In the dating world. Whereas if I were to be like, oh, you want a Bloody Mary? Do you want Kettle One or Chopin? Now they only have two options. And they have no choice. So it's like they don't feel like they've made a bad choice. They had two options. They picked the one. So dating is overwhelming. It's not helping you. It's addictive. They're not teaching you how to have the right. So when people come to me, what they're looking for is quality over quantity. They need help. They don't know what to do, and they don't want to do it themselves. They don't want to do the small talk. They don't want to get in, right? So basically, I tell my people, look, I will do the heavy lifting for you. And the entire time, we're going to be coaching you through this too. Because, I need to make sure that you're looking at this the right way, that you have realistic expectations. Because if you
Right.
don't, that's also why it's not working for you.
Right. Right.
And I kind of help them realize like, this is how it works. And I'm going to try to help you have fun dating. It shouldn't be overwhelming. Dating shouldn't be overwhelming. It shouldn't be stressful. You should just be going out and meeting people and enjoying that, so I shift their mindset. So if someone were to come in, I'd be like, look, you're overwhelmed. I would listen to their story first. I would listen to your story if you were dating, what's going on. I would say, you're not alone because you're not. Most people are frustrated. Most people hate those dating apps. Yes, are they successful? Sure. But for like 10, 15% of the
Yeah.
population, right?
Wow.
They
That's
really
low.
have a bad success rate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but, if you work with me, I help coach you through that. We start actually, so what I do for my clients is they have like 6 to 12 month contracts. And they, have so many, they have to go through coaching. So they go through coaching with me. And then also I'll go and I'll seek out, I'll vet, I'll work with other matchmakers and collaborate to find them good matches that are quality matches that are actually intentional about finding relationships and then set them up on dates. Like I literally do all of the heavy lifting for them. Like they don't have to worry about anything. They just have to show up on the date.
Wow.
And then they have to listen to me because I'm listening. Like I tell people, I'm like, look, I'm showing your profile now. There's a human being that is showing your profile. I'm
Yeah.
showing your pictures. So I'm getting feedback. Anything you're getting from me is the feedback that I am getting from people. So I'm telling you what is going on. So whether that means you need better pictures
Yeah.
or, you need to look for a different type, or, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I need to tell you what's not working.
Right.
And, so my clients, I always tell them, if you want people to sell you BS, go to bigger
Yeah.
corporation, go to bigger, where they're going to be like, here, we'll send you 3 pictures of really hot people. And then, bait and switch
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
once you sign on. Or you could be with me and I might not always tell you what you want to hear. You might, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm going to tell you what you need to hear
Yeah.
for you to have a relationship. So if you're serious about finding a relationship and you're not finding it on your own and you need guidance, I'm here to guide you and I'm going to do it in the most loving way, but I'm going to help you find love that's maintainable and, that you can maintain and
Mhm.
sustain, that is real, not just something you've bought and,
Yeah.
basically put piece together and, 2 months from now, it's not real. Like I'm going to teach you along the way the skills to maintain that relationship and what's important. Because it's not
Yeah.
just about, the dating apps have made us believe that we have to have some kind of check boxes.
Yeah.
Everybody has to fit these boxes, right? As long as they have this, this, this. And if they don't, swipe. They have to have
Right.
this, this, this. If they don't, swipe. And it's like nobody is
Mm-mm.
going to ever be good enough. We're sitting
No.
here talking about being, right? Instead of swiping to try to find this perfect person, why don't you just focus on who you're with at the moment and who they are and be with them
Yes.
and let them be good enough. And if they're not, then not everybody's going to get along, right? But
That's right.
if they're a really good person, if they're there for you, if they're supportive, if they bring out your passion, why are you not, just
Yeah.
because they're not 6 foot tall?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because they don't have hair?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because they're a few extra pounds? That's just ridiculous right there.
Yeah.
Now you're being ridiculous,
Yeah.
because perfection doesn't exist.
No. But being able to say it straight, I think what you just said is, I'm going to tell you straight. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you exactly the way that you've been doing this for a long time. You've been
Mm-hmm.
doing this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
This is what your passion is to bring love and light to people.
Yeah.
And
And,
really,
sometimes I have to get people out of their own way. Sometimes I have to, a lot of people have to get over themselves sometimes
well,
too, and it's like,
mhm.
your ego is getting in the way. And, I get that you think you should have all these things. Why?
Yeah.
You tell me why. Right.
Yep.
And then,
Yep.
because
Absolutely.
sometimes even knowing that you're the secret sauce, sometimes it's like, yeah, but are you the most secret sauce? Like maybe your ego is a little too high, right? Like you gotta have some humility in this world, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Um,
And dating has
and
got to be
it's
very
awful to
difficult in
say.
this world. Really hard. Like this can't be an easy time to date. It really can't
No,
be
and
for
social
people.
media makes it so hard, right?
Oh,
Social media makes it so hard.
I couldn't even
Because
imagine. Uh,
everybody's expecting perfection, and perfection doesn't exist.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, how many photos on those apps are all photoshopped and you look like this, but when you meet the person, you're going, you didn't know what? What? Right?
Exactly.
I have my
Yeah.
girlfriends. I have several girlfriends and my one daughter, they're single. And it's like, so, as a joke, the one day we had it up on the big screen in the living room and we were like, hey, are we swiping left or right with this, whatever it was to figure, do we like this person? Don't we? I was so confused. And I would say to my daughter, well, he seems really cute. And then there would be something else. And my other daughter would say, but no, that means this. And I'm like, oh, see, yeah. If you're not, up with the lingo and understand everything, you don't even know what the profile even says.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right. So to have someone
Yeah.
to be able to
Crazy.
hold your hand and be your support and be your person to fall on and say, I don't understand what is it? And to give you that love and love you through that process. Because a lot of times maybe it's after you've lost your spouse or you've divorced and you feel lost and lonely and you don't know, but you really want someone in your life. It's not easy as just to live day to day on a regular basis. But then when you're looking for that significant other to add to your life,
Yeah.
oh,
It's a
and
lot. It's very heavy. And there's a lot of n- bad advice that are going out, right? You've got, like I said, on social media, you have a lot of people selling a lot of videos. Maybe they're really cute. They got a lot of videos out there. They got a lot of like 30-second, sound bites, but they're not professionals. They're not, they're not exactly certified to tell you these things, right? So they're giving a lot of bad advice to people. And you don't know who to follow, like who's got the good advice, who's got the bad advice, right? So it's just, you have to be careful with who, where you're getting advice. And there's a lot of memes and there's a lot, like I feel bad, like, you're never going to be completely healed. Right. And
no,
so when people
no,
are like, well, wait till you're healed. Well, we're always on a journey.
that's
We're
right.
always on a journey of healing, right? Your pockets of hurt are going to show up at times, but you just have to acknowledge them. Okay, you know what? That was
Yes.
hurt. This triggered me. Being able to communicate that with somebody. You hurt me. I don't know where this is coming from. I'm just letting you know this kind of triggered me. We're not always perfectly healed or,
No.
enlightened. Like everybody wants to be enlightened now, and everybody wants to be a therapist for somebody else. But they're
Yeah.
not acknowledging their
So
own
when you
issues,
do
right?
this, do you then work with the couple afterwards? Like when you get them together, like when they meet? So
If
I meet my man
Yeah.
of my dreams. Things seem to be going well. Do you kind of help us navigate sometimes? Because, right? I mean,
Yeah.
wow, to
If
in my
Yeah.
50s to be to date and bring someone new into your life just seems like the scariest thing
Yeah.
in the world.
If they want to as a couple to come back, then they can, right? Because I
Oh,
do
good.
offer couples. Now, I'm not a therapist, so
No, but
the couples coaching that I do is all based in communication. So,
yeah,
I do
yeah,
have a master's degree in communication. I was a professor of communication. It is all based on listening skills, understanding perception and the process of perception and why we might see things differently and how to approach that, like how to get on your partner's map, right?
hmm
Like how
yeah,
so that you can understand and have conversations. It's about conflict resolution and what's your style of conflict, what's your conflict style, what's your conflict style. It's understanding attachment styles and trying to
right.
deal with that. So that's my coaching is really about communicating your needs, communicating effectively, assertively, as opposed to aggressively. So that typically helps couples become more intimate and just learn how to communicate better, which I would say 66 or more % of people their relationships fail because they don't know how to communicate effectively.
Yeah, I agree. I would have to agree with that. I know with my clients as well, the communication is what most of people struggle with is communication.
Yeah.
I do find that as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
They
have
don't
some big
argue
things.
effectively.
Yeah, and right? It's true. Because
Crazy.
we
Yeah.
we want to be right, and but if we go through life being right and wanting to look good and everything all the time, it's not sustainable. You can't sustain that. You just
Exactly.
can't.
Right.
Just be human.
No.
Be human.
Right. Right.
And you do have some big things coming up. You do have a lot of doors opening for you right now. So hence why we're going to have to revisit another episode, because
Right.
Angela's got some big things on the go right now as we're talking. So she is
Right.
still doing what she does best. She's still matchmaking and coaching and hooking people up with their soulmates, their loves of their lives, their person, which is just, I love love. So you must just love those success stories. You just must.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It makes me very happy. Yeah, it makes me very happy to get the pictures and the text messages and but it breaks my heart too if something's not working, so I'm like, oh, like it just gives,
yeah,
like it puts a pit in my stomach.
yeah.
Like for example, I know, like I saw a message coming in from a client. Well, the client just had a date. So I'm like, oh no. I start to panic. Like I'm like, because
But,
now I have to hear feedback. So this is feedback now. So I start
right.
to get this pit in my stomach, like, oh my God, please, what happened? Right?
So feedback, let's,
What?
before we wrap this up, let's talk about that. So what happens if, we think it's a great fit and then it's not? Do we go back to the
Yeah.
drawing? What is your process like for that?
Oh yeah, we go back to the drawing board. The feedback helps me figure out what's going on. Sometimes, and again, sometimes I give really great feedback, like, and sometimes it's like I get great feedback on people. There's just no chemistry. Now, I wish I had
Yeah.
a button that, someone could look perfect on paper, but when
Yeah.
they meet, it's just there's something not
Yeah.
present, right? So I wish I had a button to say chemistry, and this is where people I think have a problem with the matchmakers and things like that. They seem to believe that matchmakers just have this cloud of people that they don't have access to, that they just pull out, that are just poof. We're just
Yeah.
magicians, right? Like, I think a lot of people, they just believe, but we're humans. We're humans working with humans,
Yeah.
trying to find great matches for you. And we're trying to work with what you're telling us you want, but then we're also meeting you. We're also meeting these people, and we're realizing that maybe that's not going to work. Like I don't fully believe that. And like I worked with very highly successful females who are very alpha, and they always want the alpha. And I'm like, I don't think you really want that guy. I don't think that guy's good for you,
Yeah.
because you are
Yeah.
constantly going on dates where you're like, "Rah." And if two of you are always busy, then you really don't have time. To me, it's not a good fit often,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
want what they want. Right.
Yeah.
And so the feedback comes, and this is where I think matchmaking helps, because in dating world, you don't get feedback. You just get people
No.
ghosting you. You
Yeah.
just and you have someone just telling you, you know what, I just didn't feel it. Thank you. I think I'm done. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the matchmaking coaching world, you have feedback. I'm listening. So I think for people who work with matchmakers or they have to let go of their ego again, and you have to accept the feedback, because the matchmaker's not telling you what they think.
No.
Right.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
listening to who just went on a date with you.
Right.
And we're telling you the feedback that we're getting. And I can't change that feedback, right? So
No.
there's a part of acceptance that has to come into play, and just like accepting, how you may come across. And maybe, if you're coming across as too controlling, like, how do we work on that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You want to be more feminine. How do we let go of control?
Yeah.
How's a
Absolutely.
man supposed to be masculine or whatever if you're still calling all the shots?
Yeah.
You've got to
Yeah.
you got to come back then, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm learning how to do all of these things, because there's this sense of control and trust, or you're coming across as very guarded. So let's talk about why you're being guarded. Like, what are you
Mhm.
afraid of right now?
Mhm. Yeah.
And if someone was guarded with you, how can you can't get close to people if you're
No.
guarded,
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
I wouldn't know if they're guarded. Only the person on the date would say that they're guarded. This person said that he doesn't think you're ready for a relationship. Why do you think he would say that? He was saying that you were talking about your ex a lot.
Yeah.
Are there things that we need to discuss that you're not
Yeah.
over yet with your ex, or that you feel that is necessary to tell somebody else? So, like, the feedback helps me figure out where my clients are. The feedback helps me figure out what's maybe going on or what's a problem in their dating world,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or how
Yeah.
people are perceiving them. And then it helps me kind of, if I have to shift or adjust their vision of what they think they should be dating, that helps me figure that out. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes
For
it's good
sure.
news that I have to bring to people. And sometimes I have to have really tough conversations with people. Like, especially if people haven't been dating much, they
Mm-hmm.
have this vision of what it should be like, because maybe they only dated their spouse.
Exactly. Oh.
And so they're like, well, this is how
Absolutely.
it should be. And I'm like, look,
Yeah.
I get how it should be, but this is just not how it is. I mean,
Yeah. It's not reality.
we could shit ourselves to death. I always say, stop shitting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we could shut ourselves to death,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's not how it works. You got to see
No.
reality, and,
Yeah.
and I think if I'm not doing that for people, if I just keep feeding them BS, it's not going to work. And so that's why I
Right.
say not everybody is my person,
No, and you don't want a long-time client. That's not what you're here to do. You're not here to keep having that same client looking for someone for them for years so that you can, right? That's not your job. Your job
No.
is to match make somebody with their perfect to them person, right? The
Yeah.
one that's perfect for me.
Hmm.
That's all.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And
That's
you
it.
do it, you
Yeah.
do
But
it
I
well.
mean, a lot of cheats. What's that?
I said you do it and you do it well. You do it very well.
Oh,
You have very many success stories, and I love that. I just love it. So I'm going to have to ask you
thank
for
you.
some advice later on. My oldest son is now ready to date, so I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I can be his matchmaker.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Okay, Mom, stop saying it.
Don't talk.
Don't
No,
do it.
no.
Well, we'll
No,
be giving
no.
you a call. Give me some tips and
A
tricks.
lot, a lot of mamas have talked about it. I'm like, did they want a matchmaker? Like, you gotta stay. They have to do it on their own. I know
I know.
mamas like to have the people dating, and you have a vision, but you gotta let them.
I
They
know.
gotta do it on their own.
It's
Unfortunately,
true.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's hard.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
so much for coming and sharing your journey with us today. And in your time as an entrepreneur, going from corporate to building your business to realizing the shifts along the way and allowing yourself the freedom and taking the ego out. That's what unstoppable looks like, my friends. And this woman here is definitely an unstoppable force. And she's going to be shaking up the dating world for lots more time to come. We will have her back, but all of Angela's information will be in the show notes. So if you are single, or you know someone that's single, or pass this along, reach out, talk to Angela. She works her magic, and allow her to do that with you. And if you're couples, she can help you there too. So thank you for coming today, and thank you for
thanks for
being
having
here.
me, Vicki.
And it was a real pleasure to see you again. So we'll see you soon, and we'll have some bigger news out there soon from Angela. And thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. Remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and your power is limitless. If you love today's conversation, subscribe, share it with the women in your life, and leave a review to help more women discover their unstoppable selves. I'm Vicki McDougall, and I'll see you in the next episode, because your journey to unstoppable starts now.